Okay, welcome back. It is day 173, I think. Um, Coding every day. Today, got a lot of work done on knock. In the morning, I got through pretty much all of the back end in a landing page and a login. And I said I was going to do that last, but I don't think I have a good reason. I was like, well, at first I was like, you know what? This will be really easy because if I just use MongoDB again, I literally can just rip all the code from my last project and just change like the environment variables, and that's basically it. So that was kind of what I did, but then I changed like the themes of everything um, to match the theme of this app, which I'm still. The themes of this app are not even close to set in stone, and I could restyle this whole thing, like an overhaul of everything. I have no idea. I am very stingy about my theme and UI stuff. So so that's definitely a work in progress. But it's working with MongoDB, which is nice. So there's a login system. So now I can actually deal. I can like save state and stuff like that, which is nice. So what I did in the recording, most of it's literally just you're watching Claude generate, which wasn't the plan. The plan was to actually put down some code for the process I'm about to talk about for what I think the back end of this app is going to be. Um, at least the main part, that like the proof of concept part that I've been talking about. Um, I asked it to do a file layout. So I described, okay, so here's the structure. Here's what I'm going for. So you link your GitHub, right? Or you give authorization to a certain repository. I haven't actually looked exactly how GitHub API or GitHub authorization, works exactly. But I know, I'm pretty sure you can authorize like a repository and give access to certain features. Or like on request, the user can accept the things that you're asking for, right? So when you go to click on the GitHub link that's in the UI that's above the chat to link it, um, you user accepts that, and then I think they get like a token that's stored on their account, so you know that whatever. I still don't know the exact specifics of how that all works, but once I get that set up, right, I know there's a thing called webhooks, and so webhooks is something like a signaler, um, or what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like a signal. Like instead of you checking if there's any like data, right? It notifies you if there's data. I know there's a better word for that, not signal. Um, and so event, yeah, that's the one. And so it gives you an event, not handler. Anyways, and so that event trigger saying, hey, we got to push, like someone pushed code to this repository. There's these things called diff parsers where you can just get the different, like, you know how if like you have a conflict, it shows you the diff between what is there and what you have, and there's a conflict there. Well, ignore the conflict, just the different code, like what you removed from the original code that was there and what you added. And so based on that, I want to do ChatGPT has an API for embeddings. And so kind of how an LLM works actually is it does relations between words as embedded vectors. And so they have an API like kind of just for that, as in you can put in a string and another string, or as many strings as you want, I'm pretty sure, and it'll make a space of vectors in relation to each other based on how similar they are. And so what I can do is I can take a task and a description in code, and I can either take that code and make a summary out of it with a large language model, and then hopefully if someone committed something that is close to that task, right? Its summary is close to that task, then I'll have a confidence of a certain threshold that we can then say like, oh, this is now an in progress task, or this is a finished task. And then, based on that, I can, move stuff around on the actual board. So that's the idea, is using that embedding thing that OpenAI has given as an API to be able to get a confidence. Now there probably might be like a fallback for this. Like there might be just an LLM sitting there, especially for like the done things. For moving something from not started to in progress, I think if I can just have like a confidence, or like it comes back with like a hey, this has a similarity of zero point 0.3 or something like that. Maybe like zero point 0.3 to 0.7, 0.8. If I stick with the not started, in progress, and finished, which maybe I want more there. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I want to stay with the board of like the Trello board of like, oh, this is here, this is here, this is here. I'm not sure yet. Um, so so yeah. So that's what I'm gonna start probably tomorrow, is working on first the GitHub and then into like the ChatGPT stuff, and I mean webhooks first, and then using the diff parser and stuff like that. So yeah, but good work done today. Yeah. So that is all I have. I will see you tomorrow for day one, I think 74. Yeah. Take care.